you've been on my community tab, you may know that I'm starting work on a 009 gauge layout. I haven't got much done yet, as I've just put some curves together and have flex track for the straights. But the first thing I need to do is figure out how far the track's going to come out, as I'm planning on having water on the edge of my layout, which is where this comes in, a Walthers Rocky Point Lighthouse kit. I want a lighthouse for the layout, so I decided I'd try giving it a build. Let's see how it goes. I began laying out all the parts of the lighthouse, so I could get ready to prime and paint them, and cut them off their sprues before that. Once all the parts were cut and prepped, I began spraying them with Tamiya Fine Surface Primer. The parts were soon coated in this, and I sprayed them in the box outside that they came in. Alright, so I've got the lighthouse all painted up, or the main walls of the building at least, which I painted in a snow white color. Before that, the building was all in a white plastic, and it had red in the, all in where the planking is for the wood. But it looked very plasticky, so I just figured to give it another color paint. And I was thinking I'll have, before it was the trim was white and the planking was red, I'm thinking now, for this time I'm going to do white planking, and then I'll maybe paint the, trim in a green or something. I was looking at pictures of some lighthouses in North Wales where my layout is set, and I did see a lighthouse that has green trim, and I quite like the look of that, but I may end up just going for the more traditional lighthouse red color. But yeah, I'll think on that, and then I'll get painting the trim and some of the other details. As you can see, most of this is still on a sprue. For the roof, I'm probably going to go with a light gray, even though I haven't really, touched that yet, but yeah, I'll probably go with a light gray when I get to that. The whole thing will be weathered anyways. This is just one coat of paint, but I don't know if it needs more than that because I used the primer, and also, if you do look closely, it's not painted like the best. There are gaps and you can kind of see the other color underneath, but I was thinking for the weathering I might be able to use that to my advantage, because with the other colors underneath, what I might be able to do is I might be able to make it look like the lighthouse used to be painted a different color and then was painted white, and now all of the paint's peeling over. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep working on this and update you guys. Alright, so I did end up giving the main building of the lighthouse a few more coats of white. I think it looks a lot better. And I started painting the trim along the bottom here just to test it. I used this Spring Green by Apple Barrel, but I can't say I love the look of it. I think it's a bit too bright of a shade to look realistic. So I'm thinking I will try this Patho Green. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that, but it's by Artist Loft, and it seems like it's a darker color, so I think I'm going to give this a try and see how I like that. I forgot to record this bit, but to cut a long story short, the Artist's Loft paint looked absolutely horrible on it, and it was a very bad shade of green, so I decided to repaint it in Apple Barrel Christmas Green. Right, so the Christmas green has dried. I think this is a much, much better color than the other green. You can still see on the tape and on the edge what the other one looked like compared to this. And I just think this is a much better, more muted shade of green. So I'll be painting the rest of the trim in that, and I don't think I'll bother recording that. Right, so I just finished painting all these. I masked them off all with the Tamiya masking tape, as I mentioned. And they've come out pretty good. I'll show you, this is the worst one. Probably there's few paint imperfections there, especially right there. It didn't turn out quite right. but overall it's not too bad. To show, this one turned out pretty well here. There's like a few areas I need to touch up, but it's nothing too bad. Side walls all turned out well. Ignore this down here. There's a piece of brick that goes over it, so I just didn't care. But yeah, the Tamiya masking tape has always worked extremely, extremely well for me. I couldn't recommend anything else for masking off trim and other things on buildings like this that you need to paint into different colors. So, now I'm going to, also I painted the, tower for the lighthouse. Doesn't look that different. I just went over it with some primer to dull the finish down a bit. I think it looks okay. I could maybe do with a little bit more sanding and maybe another coat of primer, but I'm not too fussed about it. And then I primed these parts as well, which were in red. They're for on top of the lighthouse, and I'll be painting them into the same green that I did on these in order for the two buildings to match. I still need to paint these parts here. They've got a bit of trim on them that needs, quite a bit of trim actually, that needs to be the same in the same green as the rest of this, and there's several of those, and they're going to take forever. So I'm not really looking forward to that, because these were fiddly and took a long time to paint, and I'm sure these will too. So yeah, I'll get to that. Alright, so as you can see, I have painted more of the parts now, like these top parts of the lighthouse, and then as well as a few of the accessories for the house into the green. I've tested out some paints on the base of the lighthouse. You can't really tell. I mean, you have to do a lot of weathering on it. You can kind of see here it's a bit of a different color than the rest of it where I've painted it. And then I painted this roof piece into Apple Barrel Couture Gray. Definitely need to do a few more coats. Might try using a few different colors as well and try and make it look like slate. But yeah, it's coming along. That's most of the painting done. I still need to do a tiny bit of the trim, but I'll probably just do that off camera. So I'm thinking that'll be the end of part 1, and then I'll do a second part later on where I cover a little bit more of the painting and start assembling it.